So it seems like the Sega Saturn is a system that not many people collect for in today's time, just because the prices are so crazy. It is absurd paying some of these prices in today's time for these video games that can often lead to disc rot. It is just insane. But these are going to be my top 10 expensive Sega Saturn games that I have in my collection. So first up, we'll start out with one of my all-time favorites. We have Resident Evil. This was by far one of my favorite games back in the day. I remember watching my cousin play through this game, and even though I wasn't supposed to play through this game, I finally had that chance later on. But this felt like a horror movie. Just watching, everyone turn the corners, opening doors. You get to play as Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine, and depending on who you play with and everything else, there is the replay value. You can have different options while going through each time that you play. And there's just so much to explore. I absolutely love this game, but it is better on the PlayStation 1, for the texture and the lighting. But I absolutely loved it back then, and I am shocked that this game goes for $196.36 according to price charting. This is just so insanely expensive, but it really helped develop my love for the Resident Evil franchise and just go through all of these horror video games. This is definitely a must-have and one of my favorites in my collection. One of my first memories with the Sega Saturn was playing some of these crazy light gun video games. Here we have Creech Killer, and it says real arcade shooting action. This was such a fun game back in the day to play, especially any of these light gun games. But this one comes in at $181.73. This was an arcade, but I never saw it back then. I just love how bad the graphics look in the background. It's just so crazy. And it's just way better on the PlayStation, but this is so much fun. I absolutely love this. You have different playthroughs, different paths, different endings, and it's really a lot of fun. So I thought that this is just that non-stop shooting action, fast-paced, skeletons, gargoyles, zombies, just going through and just having a really great time, no matter how cheesy or how crazy these games actually look in today's time. This game is one that I did not know much about when I first bought this game. So this pretty much expands upon D, but it's a little bit different because you have different characters, even though they resemble each other, but you have Enemy Zero. So this game is definitely up there. This is a Sega exclusive. So you have this at $175.87. So it just has the look and feel of D, but there's tons to explore. You have like these invisible aliens, and you don't really see them at all. You just go off of beeps. So you have like this whole pitch sensor, and depending on the high or like the low beeps, it kind of tells you which area the enemies are at, and you have to shoot them. But you have this rechargeable gun, and it only shoots a few shots, so you have to pay attention. Just the anxiety in this game alone is just something that really draws you in. So this is one that I'll have to give another playthrough to. I don't think I made it very far the first time that I played, but I cannot believe the price of this game, as I got it way cheaper back in the day. Then onto this game. This one is actually a lot of fun. We have Die Hard Arcade. So this is such a fun one that models after the movie. So this is coming in at $161.45. So of course it's based off those movies, a beat 'em up, and you get to punch, kick, jump. You have different scenes where you're kind of like running and you just have to like punch or like push anyone out of the way. It's just pretty crazy how they like pack that in there because it's just so odd and so different. But this one was a very enjoyable game as I went through. You could play it with a couple people. So of course I played it in 2-player, and you just have a really good time. That quick pace, that arcade action, and this is a fun game on the Sega Saturn. But I'm definitely not sure I would pay this price for it. Next up, we have one of my favorite light gun games of all time. We have Virtua Cop. This is such a fun one because you are a cop, you get to shoot the bad guys, and you have to avoid hitting some of the innocent bystanders. It's all super cheesy, and it's like endless amounts of enemies as you're going through. But the reason why this game is so expensive is because if you have it with this big box, which comes with the hit arcade game Virtua Cop and the stunner arcade gun. So here you actually have the light gun. There is a smaller version of this game, which I have on the shelf, but this is a 1 to 2 player game. It's really a lot of fun. You just need, another light gun to play it. But this one's a lot of fun. I actually bought the Virtua Cop 2 arcade machine, and I just can't believe that this big box goes for the price that it does, especially when you compare the prices. So this one comes in at $154.14 with the gun bundle. I only paid $5 for this box, as I already had all of the inserts and everything else with it. So it's just pretty crazy, but I love how you just have this like upbeat music, just the bystanders, just all of this cheesiness going on, and it's so much fun. But I absolutely love Virtua Cop and Virtua Cop 2. Now, some people will say that this game is one of the best on the system. So here we have Nights into Dreams, and this one is the not for resale version, because you could get this massive box right here, and it actually comes with a 3D control pad inside. So you get this really cool controller, and this was just a beautiful game back in the day. I loved playing this one and watching people play it. So this one goes for about $149.99. By itself, the game is about $109.77, but I just love how it looks. Each time you play, you get better at the flying, because that is a little bit difficult to get used to when you jump back into it. But you get to go through the different rings, and I just love how it shows off the Saturn's power. So pretty much you have this dream energy that's stolen, and it's just like over the top. You have to go through, collect the different stars, you are timed, defeat the bosses, and it's very Sonic-like. So I just love how this game looks. I love how it plays, and they even have a Christmas Nights version as well, which really looks cool, and it's great to play around the holidays. This game I actually stumbled upon, and I'm so glad that I did. So this one is 3 Dirty Dwarves, and this one is a lot of fun because you have these 3 different characters. You only play through one at a time, and you get to rotate through them. So I absolutely love different games like that where they have their own special attacks. And I just love the look of this with these like different like animations and the story. It's just really a fun one. And this one comes in at $143.31. But you get to switch on the fly. So you don't have to go through all this craziness. When you're playing the game, you could just switch through the different characters. And there's 15 levels of non-stop bash everything action. So it's really a lot of fun. And I just have to play this one a lot more. Really experience this game. Up next, I have Clockwork Knight 2. This is definitely an improvement on the first game, and as you can see, I actually got this game for $4.99 back in the day. This is really insane because this game goes for $105. So pretty much the storyline is that a girl was kidnapped, and you pretty much need her, so you have to rescue her. So the toys are brainwashed, and they act out against you because they are out to get you. So you have these hidden items, definitely gives you more time as you're going through, and this one is a lot of fun. So I absolutely love this like crazy bizarre look of this game. I love the style of it, and I just love all of these different hidden areas and puzzles that I remember when I played this back in my childhood. This was really a fun time, and there's just some sort of charm about it. And I'm not sure if that's because it reminds me of like Toy Story and everything at that time, but I just loved games like this. This game is a lot of fun, but I'm not quite sure I would want to pay the price for it. So this is X-Men, Children of the Atom. So this one comes in at $101.81. I love fighting games. This is really fun because it has 10 different of the X-Men. I just love these like 2D fighters that often compared to Street Fighter, but there is a better game than this. There is Marvel vs. Capcom, where you kind of get like the best of everything, and I just love it. But this one does also have some special moves, different attacks. This is really a fun one, especially if you grew up watching the cartoons, reading the comic books, and you just wanted something a little bit different than Street Fighter. This whole series is one that is so beautiful on the Sega Saturn. This is Panzer Dragoon, and this is number 2. So this one is just so crazy. I absolutely love it. So this game, just the visuals are amazing. You get to ride on dragons and shoot stuff. It's just one of those like on-rail shooters. So this one comes in at $97.80. This is such a huge improvement over the first game. And if you had the money to spend over $1,000 for the third one, for Panzer Dragoon Saga, then maybe you would go ahead and do that. But that one is just so far out of reach for many people. So if you want to play the first or the second, those are definitely your better options if you don't want to pay that money for that game. But it's just so insane trying to find these complete and beautiful copies for just around the $100+ range. So this is really crazy, but this one is a must for anyone who loves the Sega Saturn, who loves these beautiful games, and this one is a great series. So overall, collecting for the Sega Saturn is just so insane. There are so many games that are hundreds of dollars, even over $1,000. It's just a system that so many people try to find deals out there, but it is super challenging, especially nowadays. I can remember when some of these games were much cheaper, when you could find the deals, but having over $1,000 worth of these games, it's just so insane that someone would pay this extreme amount of money for these games. And I'm so thankful that I got a lot of this stuff, like these boxes, as additions for just a couple dollars a piece, not paying the full retail in today's time, and just really having a blast on the system. There's so many arcade-style games, fighting games, light gun games, just beautiful games that really push the limits for the Sega Saturn. So I want to know, what are your top games, and if there's any in this list here that you would absolutely love in your collection. So of course, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead and check out all of my other videos and stay tuned for more.